G'day crew, it's Ross here in the garden. And today, I'm not in my own garden. In fact, I'm on the other side of the world in the Netherlands at a place called Keukenhof. Now this is only open for 8 magic weeks of the year from mid-March to mid-May. And we're here right at the start of April, so great time to be here. Today's about 11 degrees, 12 degrees, and it's sunny and it's beautiful. Get round in your shirt. Keukenhof Gardens markets itself as the most beautiful spring garden in the world. Now in this video, I'm going to talk about the garden history, the location and basic layout, discuss how to get there, when to visit and what not to miss. I'll show you a few maps, but mostly I'm going to talk while you get to look at the photos of the gardens themselves. The Keukenhof Gardens is located in the Netherlands, about 36 kilometres from Amsterdam Central train station and about halfway between Amsterdam and The Hague and not far from the Amsterdam airport. The park is open all year round for private events, but it's only open to the public for 8 magic weeks in spring, from late March to early May. And during that period, the park is open from 8 AM to 7 PM 7 days a week. And in 2026, the park is scheduled to be open on the 19th of March and close on the 10th of May. Each year there is a specific theme, with the 2026 theme not yet announced. There are a number of different ways to get to Keukenhof. The first is to drive yourself, noting that a parking ticket purchased online is €9 or €14 at the site. There's also limited parking for camper vans, but you've got to buy a ticket in conjunction with a park entrance, and you cannot stay there after 7 PM when the park closes. You've got to go to a campsite or somewhere else. There are campsites in the area. There are bike racks at both entrances, and parking is free for bikes. Electric bikes can be charged in an emergency, and there's also an electric vehicle charging station. Note that while you can cycle around the outside of the park, no bikes or scooters are allowed in the park. The only things with wheels allowed are prams and wheelchairs. In fact, you can hire wheelchairs on site. Now that sidetracks me for just a bit. I wanted to mention that this park is very mobility friendly, and apart from a small number of areas with steps or rough ground, a majority of the park is flat and suitable for wheelchairs and anyone with mobility issues. Taxis is another choice. However, taxis in the Netherlands are notoriously expensive, and a search online indicates a cost of €110 to €140 one way from the CBD. That does not include admission. If you book through the Tulip Festival site, and I'll put a link in the description, you can get a sedan for 3 passengers for €94 or a minibus for 7 passengers for €136. That's a one-way price, and as mentioned, it does not include admission. Buses are a popular option, and you can just get the shuttle bus for €27.50 for the trip only, or €35 you can get a return trip plus skip the line tickets. That's about $70 Australian. You can go to sites such as booking.com and get your guide, and the great thing about those websites is you can set the currency, and so when you look it'll tell you the currency in whatever country you come from. So you can get tours starting at 62 Australian, which include a return bus trip to Amsterdam plus admission. You can also get buses from The Hague and several other locations. It's common to see tours that also take you to Zaanstad and Keukenhof in the same day, and this is the option we took in the middle of April. In hindsight, I wouldn't do it again, despite the relatively low cost of around $100 Australian. The problem with that tour is you only get just over 2 hours, or about 2 hours 20 minutes at Zaanstad, which is not enough, and you can check my video out on that. And then the bus deposits you at Keukenhof around 3 in the afternoon. Now the last stats I could find, which are about 5 or 6 years old now, indicate that about 26,000 people visit Keukenhof each day over that 8-week period. And I can tell you right now that 3 o'clock in the afternoon is not the best time to walk in the door. Try 8 AM in the morning or from 4 PM till closing time. It does get quieter around about 4:30, 5 o'clock. Each year, a team of around 40 gardeners plant over 7 million bulbs on the site, which is approximately 79 acres. They're planted from October through to December, and by my calculation that means every gardener is planting around 4,000 bulbs per day. And they always plant 3 bulbs together to ensure that there's at least 1 flower coming up in each hole, so they get the layout that has been designed. Now as you go through either of the entrances, there is one to the north, one to the south, make sure you grab yourself a map. There'll be one in one of these baskets sitting there somewhere, and that's what they look like. They fold up quite small and they are very useful. Now it's a square site. To the left is Castle Keukenhof, which is a separate site that you can also visit, so you might want to look that up and fit that into your day as well. There's the main entrance in red, and just to the left there is an area called Irene, which has a little water fountain. There are bathrooms there, there is shopping and there is food, and that's a popular space with the kids. To the north is an area called Juliana. And in there again, there's more food options and there's more bathrooms. This is a wooded area and it's not quite as mobility friendly. There is some up and down in this area. There are some boardwalks and there are some mulch walking areas, etc. Not so good for the wheelchairs and prams. We've got the lake there. Now in the lake we have two bridges. One's easy to get over and the other is just made of stepping stones, so a little bit more difficult. Beautiful area, very popular with the influencers, and we've actually got some stepping stones. Keep an eye out in this video for the stepping stones set level with the water. Very, very popular and fun. Over to the right we have the mill. Now that is a mill you can go up into for free. Little bit of a viewing deck on top. You'll be up and down in 3 minutes, but you know, you can do it. And just to the right of that is the boat ride you can take for an extra €10 that takes you around the site. It's an electric boat and it's a 45-minute trip. €10 for adults. In the middle, do not miss the main pavilion. You could easily spend 45 minutes in there and you'll see a whole lot of photos coming up and a few videos from the main pavilion. Very, very nice area. Lots and lots of tulips. And on the right, we have a maze and also an area there with some wooden fence. It's a little bit of a mulch hill there, so not quite mobility friendly, but a little bit of a quieter space. And instead of just single plant flower beds, there's some meadow flower beds there that look absolutely beautiful. Now, of course, there are other parts of the garden to visit. I'm just pointing out some of the particular areas that you don't want to miss. To the left of the gardens is the manor house, which is called Castle Keukenhof. And that is open all year round unless there's an event on. And by all year round, I mean 9 to 5, 7 days a week. And you can do tours through there. If you can see both sites in a day, I would strongly recommend doing so. The castle or the manor house does not get as much publicity as the main garden. So if you manage to get a bus there, you can do both sites, make a day of it. Right. Now I'm going to put some music on and you can just look at these beautiful gardens as we go through. It's about 4:30 in the afternoon now, and the crowds are really starting to thin out. It may not look like it. When I got here just on 2 hours ago, I pretty much couldn't move around where that water was. And look, the organ's playing Queen. How awesome's that? And that is just a little look at Keukenhof. If you can brave the crowds, it is well worth a visit. Open from mid-March till mid-May, and you should absolutely spend at least 2 hours here, and I would suggest you probably want 3 to 4 to take it all in. As always, I thank you for your time, and until next time, happy gardening. See ya.